All right, welcome back, everyone. We're jumping into episode 7 here on the ThingRex Audio Experience. And today we're going to go deep on edge processing and edge gateways. We're building on what we've talked about, in previous deep dives about IoT.
Mm,
And just so everyone knows, we pulled a lot of great info from ThingRex articles to put this together.
yeah. It's really about taking everything to that next level, right? I mean, you've got your sensors and they're collecting all this data, but the real magic happens, well, it's in how you use that data, right? That's where this whole edge processing thing comes in.
Okay, yeah, that makes sense. But I got to admit, I'm not exactly a tech whiz, right? So can you break down edge processing like in a way that, even a regular business person can understand?
Sure. So think about it like this.
Yeah.
Imagine you're running a factory, right? A busy factory. You've got sensors on all your machines tracking every little thing. Now, what if every time those sensors picked up something, they had to send that data all the way to the cloud to be processed, like before anything could actually happen?
Oh man, I could see where this is going. That would be a nightmare.
Yeah, it would be slow, really slow. Like trying to run a business with, I don't know, carrier pigeons, maybe, like sending messages back and forth. That just wouldn't work.
Oh, absolutely not. No, you need things happening fast.
Exactly. And that's where edge processing comes in. It's like instead of waiting for that round trip to the cloud and back, you're bringing the decision-making power right to the data, like right there on the edge of your network. Your devices can analyze that information and act on it instantly.
So it's all about speed. Got it.
Yeah.
But where do these edge gateways fit in? I mean, they sound pretty important.
Oh, they are. They're like the brains of the operation. Okay, so picture this. You're on this busy factory floor, right? All these machines, but they're all speaking different languages. Some are new, some are old. An edge gateway, it's like having this universal translator right there on site, connecting all those devices, collecting their data, making sense of it.
So it's like a manager or something, right? Like keeping everything running smoothly.
Yeah, exactly. And the cool thing is, edge gateways, they can even connect those older machines to the internet, machines that have never been online before. So suddenly you're getting all this data, all these insights from these machines you've had for years.
Wow. Yeah, that's incredible. You're right. It's like uncovering hidden potential just by connecting things up.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing.
Okay, so we've got data being processed super fast right at the source. We've got edge gateways keeping everything in sync. But I keep hearing this talk about edge versus cloud. Is it like, are they fighting for dominance? Do we have to choose?
No, no, not at all. It's not about choosing sides. It's about figuring out what works best where. Like edge processing. That's great for anything that needs to happen really fast. Real-time stuff, making sure a machine adjusts its settings right away to avoid a problem. But the cloud is amazing for big picture things, storing tons of data, running complex analyses, spotting those long-term trends.
So it's more like they're partners,
Right.
like a dynamic duo.
Yeah, exactly. They complement each other perfectly. It's like the edge can handle those immediate actions while the cloud is simultaneously figuring out like how to make things even better in the long run.
Okay, that's cool. I'm starting to get it. So like if I'm a business owner and I'm thinking about, okay, edge processing, how do I know what setup is right for me? I mean, is it always edge gateways?
Hmm.
Or are there times when it makes more sense to like just use independent sensors?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, isn't it?
Yeah.
And honestly, just like with any business decision, it all comes down to your specific needs. What are you trying to achieve? What are your priorities?
Right, yeah. Let's talk about those priorities.
Yeah.
What are the things businesses should really consider when making this decision?
Well, security is a big one. With edge gateways, you've got this centralized security hub. It's like, imagine a really good security team guarding the main entrance to your factory. They control who comes in. They watch for anything suspicious.
Okay, yeah, so pretty tight security.
Right. But there's a flip side to that, right? What if that main entrance is compromised? Then, well, you have a problem.
That makes sense. So with independent sensors, it's more like each one's responsible for its own little area.
Exactly. It's kind of like that zero trust model you hear about in cybersecurity. Each sensor only has access to the data it absolutely needs, so it's much harder for like a hacker or whatever to compromise the whole system.
Ah, interesting. So it's like a trade-off then,
Okay.
centralized versus distributed.
Exactly. You got to weigh the risks, figure out which approach makes more sense for your overall security philosophy.
Right, makes sense. What about, like, what happens if something fails? Does that change things? Like gateways versus sensors?
Oh, for sure. Think of gateways like a powerful engine, right? It drives your whole operation. If that engine goes down, everything stops.
Yeah, no redundancy.
Yeah, exactly. But smart engineers, they build in backup systems, like having a spare engine ready to go, just in case.
Right. Especially for the critical stuff.
Absolutely. Now with independent sensors, it's more like having a bunch of smaller engines. Each one powers a different part of your operation. If one fails, the others keep running. You might lose some data from that one sensor, but it's not going to bring everything to a screeching halt.
So it's like gateways are more efficient, maybe, but sensors are more resilient.
Yeah, that's a good way to put it. And then there's maintenance too. Edge gateways, they're kind of like, I don't know, like a high performance race car. They need those regular tune-ups, software updates, maybe even a specialist to keep them running at peak performance.
Sounds a little high maintenance.
Yeah, it can be. Independent sensors, they're more like, I don't know, a fleet of reliable pickup trucks. They need routine checks, sure, but they're designed to be more self-sufficient.
Okay, so gateways might need a bit more IT know-how, while sensors are more like set it and forget it.
Something like that. And then there's cost, of course. If you're just starting out with IoT, especially if you're, testing the waters with a minimum viable product, independent sensors can be a lot easier on the budget. You can get them up and running quickly, start collecting data, see what works, without spending a ton of money.
Yeah, that's a good point. Start small, see what works, and then, scale up from there.
Exactly. Gateways, they need a bigger upfront investment. You're paying for that processing power, those security features, and, also the ability to run local applications.
Oh, yeah. You mentioned that earlier, local applications. What exactly
yeah.
does that mean? And why is that such a big deal for businesses?
This is where edge gateways really shine. Okay, imagine this. You've got your edge gateway right there on your factory floor, gathering data from all your machines. Now, instead of sending all that data to the cloud to be processed, you can actually run applications right there on the gateway itself.
Oh, wow. Okay, I'm definitely interested now. So what kind of applications are we talking about?
Well, for one, think about real-time dashboards. You could have a screen right there on the factory floor showing all your key performance indicators, your production metrics, even alerts if something needs attention.
So instead of waiting for, like, a report from the cloud, you can see exactly what's happening right now.
Right. It's like having a live map of your entire operation right at your fingertips. And because those applications are running locally, they don't even need internet access to work.
So even if the internet goes down, everything keeps running.
Exactly. You're not at the mercy of, some internet outage or whatever. And it's not just dashboards either. You can have applications for predictive maintenance, quality control, even real-time optimization of your production processes.
Wow, that is powerful. It sounds like the possibilities are pretty much endless. But with all these options, how does a business know which path to take?
Well, it comes down to asking the right questions. How fast does your data need to be processed? How important is real-time decision-making for your business? What are your security priorities? What's your budget? And how important is it to you to be able to run those local applications?
So like a checklist then, for building the perfect edge processing setup.
Exactly. Once you've answered those questions, you can start looking at the different options out there and pick the one that fits your needs.
This has been a fascinating deep dive. I feel like I've learned so much about how edge processing and gateways can help businesses make smarter, faster decisions.
Yeah, totally. But, before we wrap up, I want to leave everyone with something to think about. Like, we've talked about all these applications that already exist, but what about the future? If you could have any custom application running on an edge gateway in your business, what would that be?
Ooh, that's a good one. Like, imagine an app that, I don't know, helps you optimize energy use in your building based on like real-time data about who's there and what rooms are being used.
Oh, yeah. Or like in a retail store, right? Using inventory data to send personalized promotions to customers like as they walk in the door.
Yeah. I mean, the possibilities are huge.
Yeah.
And as the technology keeps getting better, who knows what we'll be able to do, right?
That's what makes this whole field so cool. It feels like we're just scratching the surface.
Totally. So to everyone listening, I definitely encourage you to like really dive into this whole world of edge processing and gateways. Don't be afraid to experiment. Think outside the box.
And don't forget about ThingRex. I mean, their articles are a gold mine of information. Super helpful, real-world examples, perfect place to learn more.
Definitely check out their website, ThingRex.com. You won't regret it. All right, well, that brings us to the end of our deep dive on edge processing and gateways. Hopefully you found it helpful, maybe even a little inspiring.
Yeah, thanks for joining us.
Absolutely. We'll be back soon with another deep dive into the world of IoT. Until then, keep learning, keep innovating.